All right, I think we're gonna get started. How's everyone? Good, good. The weather is very deceiving. We all are from San Diego and the weather almost feels like that, but I know it's not the same weather all the time. Anyway, my name is Manish. I lead one of the product management teams at Qualcomm. I'm gonna be presenting today along with a couple of my colleagues, Corey and Devang, as well as we have presenters here from guest companies. Bart is here from Powder, as well as we have Ellie, who's going to talk about something cool that we're doing with Docker. Cool. So the session is all about unleashing on-device AI with Snapdragon X series platforms. So next. OK, there you go. So our vision really is to democratize the on-device AI. And it really is threefold, if you really think about it. We have to have capable hardware. We've been investing quite a lot in making these power-efficient, high-performing NPUs. But we also have CPU and GPU that are AI capable. But just having capable hardware is not enough. You have to have it programmable, like having powerful native SDKs that gets you the access of that dedicated hardware. Also, low-code and no-code solutions that are able to provide accessibility and programmability to developers who don't want to go all native, and that we provide by pre-integrating into the tool chains that are already popular. And finally, I think having all that solution is only useful when it's available in all these OEM popular devices, as well as apps and tools when consumers and developers can really take advantage of it, right? So again, this threefold. So we're going to talk about the story of all this. I'm going to show some of the demos, talk about the platform, show some of the demos, and then my colleagues are going to walk through some of the tools and workflows. And then we also have guest speakers, like I said. So at Qualcomm, right, we have legacy of making high-performing, low power consuming or power efficient hardware over a number of years. And we've proved it over and over in mobile with decades of experience, and we bring it now to mobile, to PCs. So with that, you can take and make a laptop that is multi-day, has multi-day battery life, great multimedia experiences, all integrated with thin and light designs that you can depend on for always being connected. And we also have key investments in a couple of areas like NPUs, Hexagon NPUs, as well as Orion CPUs that give us differentiation and better performance and power efficiency. Apart from the hardware, we also have several software and other system-level optimizations that allow us to give you guys, more than 22 hours of video playback, as an example, longer browsing life. And I've been here for the last 3 days, and I haven't charged my laptop. I mean, that just tells you how much I've been working on and off through this conference and later as well. So it gives you a pretty good battery life with high performance, even when you're connected and not connected. OK. I'm having some issues connecting my switcher. There you go. OK, so what do we have on our roadmap in terms of products? So we have Snapdragon X series that stretches all the way from some of the affordable laptops, like $600, all the way to premium laptop series, right? And it has multiple cores of CPUs. But one consistent thing that you can rely on is like consistent 45 TOPS of NPU. So all these are Copilot Plus PCs, which are pretty unique. And we announced our first device last year at this exact same show. And since then, we have 85 commercial designs. That's incredible momentum that we have with Snapdragon X series. So with that, let's take a quick view at how people are using AI on these devices for some of these consumer and enterprise experiences.
Accelerate learning with on-device AI, anytime, anywhere. Powered by Snapdragon.
So if you're a student, of course, you can take local AI capabilities even when you're not connected on plane and use it to do your homework. The other use case example that I want to talk about is LLMware, which is an enterprise multi-agent or agentic AI solution. They have 90+ models, and you could do very simplest thing like chatbot, where you can choose the model that you want. You can chat with it, ask simple questions like that or complex questions, and then thinking of using these in enterprise segments, scenarios. Some of these banks like HSBC and others are able to use LLMware to do simple solutions like that. Plus, add like document search, like you just showed. You can also do multi-agentic flows, which we'll go in a second. But here, it's showing some multiple language skills, like you can chat in Mandarin. You could also use it as a coding assistant. Just created a code for the website. Plus, it's all running on NPU, so you could see the task manager and NPU being utilized when you actually chat with it. So very powerful. I think there's one last use case that I want to talk about as part of LLMware, which is multi-agentic flow. I think it's coming up right there. Yep. And then agentic workflows. So if I have to create a research analyst, I'm creating multiple agents and then assigning them either do web scraping, get me data, document scraping, get me data, or use some of these templates and create a generated report that is ready for you to download. So very powerful. Somebody who has to spend like multiple days maybe to create a report like that, with a click of a button, you are able to generate the report, all running locally. You could be now working all the time, even when you're traveling or you don't have connection. So very powerful use cases that people have been doing. Let's talk about some of the creative use cases. So I think this is self-explanatory, so I'll let the video run.
So when we started the company and Geraldo came with the first concept and the idea of separating the stems, we were like, wait, if we can apply this to run in real time, that's the dream, right? Imagine you're watching a soccer game and now you can simply tune up or down the crowd. Well, let's suppose that you get disturbed about sound effects of a movie. Now you can tune down and adjust the volume to focus on the dialogue.
I've never heard anything like it.
Moises was amazing when it wasn't live, but now that it's live, just opens up so much innovation.
Moises has been a key player in the AI industry, and our AI models on the cloud has been state-of-the-art for the past couple of years.
With these new generation of AI chips, it's now possible to run these AI models locally, doing that separation on the fly.
The idea is to maximize the number of operations running on an NPU, so it's faster.
We can put better models and it runs 35 times faster than the CPU.
Let's play the song and I'll move around some volumes and you can see what happens in real time.
We believe that this new technology will basically create a new world of possibilities. Consumer electronics won't be the same, from pro audio to cars, sound bars, TVs. If there's audio, you can have our AI there. And that's the beauty of it.
Imagine the implications for this in any kind of audio environment that you're in. You can basically customize your own listening experience. I am super excited about this.
Amazing example. So staying on the creator side, I think we also have one of our friends from One Take Audio who built real-time AI platform for music generation. Let's look at a quick video reel from them.
Everything Music moves fast, we keep up. One Take Audio builds the infrastructure for real-time audio tools at the edge. Musicians rely on instant feedback. Our SDK delivers it directly in the door, live. Built for developers, made by musicians, powered by Snapdragon. One Take Audio.
So that was a good consumer video, but let's look at the product. So this is a Cubase music editing platform. There is a plugin from our partners that they've created. Now you are separating the audio track, and you at real time you are able to change the pitch and change it from male voice to female voice. All happening on real time on NPU on the Snapdragon X series platforms. Our friends from One Take Audio are here. They're actually also at the booth. Both Neil and Ido are here. I didn't know actually Ido is a very accomplished music producer as well. You work with like Jonas Brothers and Dua Lipa and others, and he's going to be at our party, which I'll share details later today as well. Awesome. So how are these developers able to do and make these sort of experiences, right? And I think a very comprehensive developer platform is a key component to it. So we have very comprehensive developer platform, including our portal, where you can find all the tools and resources and documentation and forum. We do extend that from web or online experience and engagement to even in person. So we have tons of workshops and hackathons and events that we participate and we host across globally. And then we're not just focused on like AI development, but like core Windows native development or game development. We have several resources, and several of our partners have used it and are enjoying using it. So let's focus and double click on the AI piece of it, right? So if you're an AI developer, of course, you're starting with some sort of model zoo. Apart from Hugging Face, which is very popular, we also have our own Qualcomm AI Hub, which we'll go in detail. But you can start there. You can choose from different multiple foundation models that we already have support and optimize for. Then if you want to use low-code or no-code solutions, we have multiple plethora of solutions that are available to you, where you don't even have to write a single line of code or know where the code is running and what model and how to optimize or quantize it. So we have multiple of these solutions or middleware. We're going to talk and show you some of these examples. Underneath, we have multiple frameworks that we support. Windows ML being the key popular framework of choice at the event over here with the announcements that were made by Microsoft yesterday. We've been working very closely to enable that. But of course, if you prefer other frameworks, we also have available. Those are available. And of course, it can run on CPU, GPU, or NPU. Of course, NPU being one of the most sought after and high-performing, low power consumption platform that we recommend. So that's a snapshot of what we have. As a next step, what I would really like to do is invite one of my colleagues, Corey. Corey is an engineer in AI Hub team, and he will walk you through the AI Hub offerings. Let me switch to your laptop.
We'll leave it on the slides for now.
OK.
Yeah. Thanks, Manish. So Qualcomm AI Hub gives developers the full flexibility of model customization and optimization for on-device deployment. With the AI Hub platform, you can bring your model and deploy it with just a few lines of code in just a couple minutes. The process is super simple. First, you pick a model or from our pre-selected set of models, or you can bring your own. Second, you'll pick a target platform, like Windows on Snapdragon. Third, you'll pick a runtime, like Onyx Runtime. And finally, you'll use AI Hub to test and validate before deploying on target. AI Hub can compile for that target platform and runtime for you. And then you can use AI Hub to provision a Snapdragon device on the cloud to test performance and accuracy before you deploy. So you can deploy in your sample app with confidence. AI Hub provides 200 plus pre-optimized models for Windows on Snapdragon, but if none of those models work for you, you can bring your own weights, and we can compile it from PyTorch for you, or you can bring your own model entirely, and we can compile that for you and for the target device on NPU. Either way, it takes about 5 minutes and just a few lines of code. So let's try Qualcomm AI Hub together. I have 2 demos to show you. The first, we'll take a look at Stable Diffusion v2.1, and next, we'll take a look at Llama v3.2 3B instruct. Great. So the first thing I'm going to do, we'll start with Stable Diffusion, is we'll just pull up the aihub.qualcomm.com website. This is your place to get started with either pre-optimized models or models that you'd like to bring yourself. In this case, I'm just going to show some of our pre-optimized models. So I'll click on the Models tab. I'll click Compute for models that target our compute platform. And I can scroll through all of the models available. Right? We have quite a few models for quite a different few domains and use cases. Right? So we've got models that target audio, like audio classification or speech recognition. We've got computer vision models for a variety of popular computer vision tasks. We have multimodal models that target a couple different domains and use cases. And finally, we have generative AI models, which we'll be focusing on today. First, let's take a look at the text or the image generation models. Let's take a look at Stable Diffusion v2.1. So when you click on a model on the website, you'll get an idea of a bunch of details about the model, right? In this case, the model is split into 3 parts, and I can get an idea of how fast each part runs. Right? The text encoder runs in about 7 milliseconds. The UNet portion runs in about 100 milliseconds. And the VIE decoder runs in about 267 seconds on the Snapdragon X Elite. We put all 3 parts together to run a pipeline and then generate an image on the device. So let me do that now. I'll go ahead and first download the model from the AI Hub website. Right? I can pick the runtime I want to target. In this case, I'll target Onyx runtime. Then I'll choose the model I want to download, and I'll pick the device, in this case, the X Elite. Now, I've already done this for you. I don't want the conference Wi-Fi to eat our time. So as you can see, I've downloaded the 3 models from the website and unzipped them here. Next, we'll walk through a couple different things. The first thing I'll do is I'll take the models that I just downloaded and then upload them to the AI Hub platform to get an idea of how quickly those perform on my target device. So this will, again, take some time on the conference Wi-Fi. So I've done this already. We'll take a look at one of those samples. This is what we call a profile job. A profile job runs your model for about 100 times in the cloud and gives you an idea on a real Snapdragon device how fast it's running. We can get an idea of the minimum inference time, how much memory the model uses, and where each layer on the model runs. In this case, the entire model is running on the NPU. There's more detailed information as well, like how fast each layer in the model runs. So if you're doing analysis on your own model, you can get an idea of where the performance bottlenecks are and change your architecture accordingly. Now, let's take a look and run the model on my X Elite. I'll go ahead and skip past the upload. So let's take a look at a local demo, right? I'll walk you through the code a little bit. The first thing I'm going to do is point to the Onyx files I've downloaded on my device. The second thing I'm going to do is set up some Onyx options. And the third thing I'm going to do is use our Python sample application for Stable Diffusion. This will load the models in Onyx, do the pre and post processing and the loop over the decoder in Python, and the actual heavy lifting will be done by the NPU. So I'll go ahead and load that now. Now that my models are loaded, I can generate an image. In this case, I'll generate an image of an estate's flower garden stylized like an oil painting. And we'll pull up the task manager here just so we can get a look at the NPU being used. Right? So as you can see, it just took a couple minutes, and I've already generated one sample image using Stable Diffusion. This is available on our website as well. We have a sample app, so if you pull up the model on the website, you can try this yourself today. So next, let's take a look at Llama v3.2 3B. we'll do something a little bit different this time. So instead of running Llama through or just downloading it from the website, we'll actually use the AI Hub platform to compile Llama for us from Hugging Face, and then we'll deploy that using a C++ sample app that is also available publicly, and I'll share that information at the end here. So I can take a look at the README file. This takes me to GitHub, and we have a Python package called QAI Hub models that can take PyTorch models and convert them to ONNX runtime, TensorFlow Lite, QNN, right? Whatever your target runtime is. This is available for all of our models, including Stable Diffusion. So taking a look at the Llama instructions, the first thing I'm going to do is install the Python package and a couple of dependencies, right? The next thing I'm going to do is run a script to load the model in Hugging Face and then export that to target the NPU. Now, this script's going to take some time, so I ran this earlier today. As you can see, I'm splitting the model into a couple parts, and I'm uploading each part for compilation. Here's a look at the compile job. So when I submit my model to AI Hub, I'll upload the PyTorch format model, and the output will be one of a variety of different formats, ONNX or QNN for Qualcomm's NPU SDK. So I've obviously run this already and downloaded those for us, just to save some time. So as you can see, here are the 3 final parts of the Llama model ready to be run on my device. Next thing I'll do is open up our sample C++ application and just go ahead and run that. So it'll take just a couple seconds to load the Llama model. And now we have a full chat app sample application for you to try. This is completely open source, so you can take a look for yourself on GitHub. Let's just talk to it a little bit. Let's tell it to say hello to the audience here. And you can get an idea of how fast it responds, so it's quite quick. It's running on the NPU as well. Let's see if I can pull over the task manager so we can see that running while we're talking. All right. So this is a full interface, so it should remember what I was talking about. Right? So you can get an idea of the full end-to-end implementation of a chatbot running locally, and you can kind of see the NPU being used as it generates responses. So this is entirely open source. Once again, this is available on our GitHub page, AI Hub Apps, and there's a full README to get you from generating the model yourself all the way to running it locally on your Snapdragon device. All right. So you can find this in a couple different places. You can get started on aihub.qualcomm.com. The model catalog with all of our pre-optimized PyTorch to ready for deployment models is on GitHub in AI Hub Models. Many of those models have sample apps. You can look those up on GitHub as well at AI Hub Apps. And finally, if you have questions or you want to talk with the development team, all of us are monitoring that Slack channel. So those are the actual developers that work on these things. And we're happy to talk with you and answer any questions. Next, I'll invite Devang up to take another look at how we can run this Llama device, or Llama model, just a little bit easier.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Okay. So thanks, Corey. So my name is Devang. I'm a product manager at Qualcomm, and I will be walking you all through the next part of the session. So a few minutes ago, Manish showed this stack diagram where it showcased Qualcomm's investments in each layer of that stack. And one of the key layers that we're also investing into is the AI middleware or AI tools. And we've been working with many popular AI developer ecosystem partners like Anything LLM, LM Studio, Llama, and much more to ensure that we can make it as seamless and as frictionless as possible to develop on our silicon. The tool I'm going to show you today is Anything LLM, an all-in-one local AI desktop assistant. So here we have the UI, or this is the application that we have of Anything LLM. So anything LLM really is, it's in the name itself. You can do anything you want with LLMs, but all locally on your device. So over here, we're going to first start off by going to the settings bar over here and setting up the LLM to run on our NPU. So over here, we have a bunch of set of LLM providers that you can select from. So over here, if you select anything LLM NPU, this is exclusive to the Qualcomm NPU. So if you're running this on a non-Snapdragon device, you cannot run that on the NPU. This is only exclusive to Qualcomm NPU. So if we select this, these show all the different models that Corey just talked about from the AI Hub. The Anything LLM team has directly integrated the models from AI Hub into Anything LLM application, and then using our QNN SDK, or the Qualcomm AI Engine Direct SDK, to tap into our NPU. So for the sake of completeness, I'm going to be showing you the demo with the Llama 3.2 3B model. So we have this model already active. Now I'm going to go and create a new workspace so I can start playing around with the LLM on the NPU. So I'm going to name this workspace Microsoft Build. Now, you can see the NPU over here. So I'm going to start off by just testing it out and seeing if the model runs on the NPU. So I'm going to just put a simple thing. You can see the NPU is already kicking in. Now, just to check again, right? We can start off by saying, tell me about Microsoft Build event. And here, again, in real time, we're running this all locally on the device on the NPU. So the best thing about this is that if your CPU and GPU are busy, you're doing browsing, you're streaming, you're gaming. But now you have a dedicated processor, which is the NPU, where you can do all of this, basically more of your productivity sort of applications. So there's a lot more we can do, right? This is simple text generation. I'm going to open a new thread here. And right now, we're entering the AI PC era, right? We've seen all these. The AI PC is super hot right now. We've had a CPU and an integrated GPU that's been pretty much part of the PCs for the longest time. But now we've got an NPU that's part of these AI PCs. Now, I have this white paper over here from Qualcomm that has a bunch of information about what is an NPU, right? And there's a bunch of different pages over here. I don't have time to go through all of this and tell you the key points. But now what I can do is I can take this document and embed it into my workspace. So in a matter of a few seconds, we'll have this document embedded into my workspace. And now I can chat with the document, basically, and do document summarization, or also known as RAG. So I can ask tell me about the key points about why an NPU is important for edge AI inferencing. And now you can see in real time, again, it's actually taken the document as context, and now it's actually running on the NPU, and you're getting all real time, you're getting summarization from the document. So instead of going and retraining the model and trying to train it on that white paper, now I can just chat with the documents using RAG. So again, running completely locally, and you can see the NPU utilization right here. And you can see here, I can even click the show citation, so it cites the paper, the white paper that I've done summarization of. So now, as you might have heard in yesterday's keynote with Satya and Kevin Scott and others, right? They did say that we're entering this era of agentic AI. And agents are getting super hot. A lot of times, people are running agents in the cloud. But now here, I'm going to show you agents running locally on the device itself. So after Build, you guys are in Seattle. A lot of people are looking for places to go. And we found this nice dessert spot recently in Seattle. They called Hotcakes, which has really good desserts, by the way. So you can go and check this place out. And over here, what we have is we've got a bunch of different items on the menu over here, right? Now, I don't have time to go through all this menu and then see what I really want. But now I can actually use an agent to actually go and find out what do I really want to get from this place. So I'm going to go and copy this URL. And I'm going to invoke an agent. So over here, you got a bunch of different agents that you can choose from. Over here, one is called web scraping. So we can go and call this web scraping agent. And I'm going to say scrape the website. And I'm going to copy the URL. And I'm going to say, and give me recommendations of what to get at Hotcakes. And now the agent is acting, right? So now the agent is in motion. You're seeing the NP utilization, and it's actually scraping the content of that menu itself. Now, the agents take a little bit more time because there's a bunch of things we call function calling. So it's essentially you're delegating tasks to this agent. So it's going and scraping that website, getting all the key details from that, and then going and feeding it to the LLM so that we can go and start using that as context to start giving us recommendations. So the best thing about all of this is it's running locally, completely on device, on the NPU. You can see the NPU utilization. So it's pretty high up there, right? So in a matter of a few more seconds, we'll have the output and we'll have recommendations already of what we can get at this place. And it depends on the type of models you can use as well. The larger models we can use, they give better responses as well. So over here, you can see over here, in a matter of maybe 30 seconds, we got exact details of what are the different sort of items on this menu. And now we've gotten recommendations of what all we can have, right? So they've given all these, they've broken it down into what all are there in this menu. So again, really incredible. We can do this all locally on device. Now, let's say you want to build your own agent, right? So the other thing that Anything LLM provides is because the base model itself, the LLM itself, is running on the NPU. So the agents, you can build really any agent you want. And over here, they actually have this ability of building custom agents. So what you can do is you can create flows, agentic flows, based on the base model, and you can choose different agents. So you can, for example, send a message to Discord, send a message to Slack, send messages on Outlook, and so on and so forth. So you can build whatever an agent you want to make your life easier. So that's the live demo. I'm going to switch back. So Anything LLM and Snapdragon X Series devices, it's very powerful together. And the best thing about this is, as we saw a video a few minutes ago that Manish showed, where there's a student in the flight using this application actually locally on device. So you don't have to go and do anything on the cloud. You're like 10 hours on a flight traveling to, let's say, Asia or Europe. You're unplugged, but you're unstoppable with Anything LLM and Snapdragon. So now shifting gears, right? I'd like to highlight a key advancement we're making with Microsoft to make edge AI deployment easier. So as Satya mentioned in the keynote yesterday, Windows AI Foundry is now available, bringing seamless integration of powerful AI capabilities directly into Windows. And we're also thrilled to announce support of Windows AI Foundry on Snapdragon X Series devices. And this was made possible through our deep collaboration with Microsoft. This enables ultra-low latency, high-performance AI across the Qualcomm Orion CPU, the Adreno GPU, and the Qualcomm Hexagon NPU. Developers can now easily build apps on our Snapdragon X Series devices with customized inbox models using their own data via LoRa, semantic search, and knowledge retrieval for LLMs. And additionally, with Windows ML, apps automatically bind to the best available silicon on Snapdragon X Series devices. And a built-in CLI playground makes it easy to test and interact with the models locally. And plus, you also get a rich catalog of pre-optimized open source models for Snapdragon X Series. And this is just a few clicks away with the Foundry model catalog, making AI integration faster, more flexible, and more powerful than ever. So now you've heard about Windows AI Foundry and Windows ML from me, but I'd like you all to hear from an actual ISV that used Windows ML to tap into the NPU on Snapdragon X Series devices. Please welcome on stage Bart, CEO of Powder, to share this.
Do you have the clicker? I'm not sure I have the clicker, but I can press the key. It's right there. OK. Thank you. And thank you, Team Qualcomm, for the opportunity. It's great to be on stage here and tell about our experience with Snapdragon. So we are Powder. We turn gamers into content creators automatically. And we do it at the edge with zero latency, zero cloud cost, and a lot of Snapdragon under the hood. Today, I'm going to tell you how we are rethinking video editing and how Microsoft and Qualcomm are helping us lead the charge. Let's start with the problem statement. Gaming creators spend more time finding great moments in their recordings, doing video editing, trimming timelines, posting clips, than they do recording content. Most, they burn out. They don't have the time for all of this. Creators don't need more tools, they need time back. And that's what we're building with Powder. With Powder, you just need to hit record, and we take care of the rest. Our 46 AI models detect key moments inside of your gameplay using visual, emotion analysis, and audio models. The results are ready-to-post social clips that are in a vertical format and that you can create without needing editing skills. It's like having an AI video editor in your back pocket. I'm going to switch to what is our demo for this event. I'm clicking on the wrong button. So this is Powder running on a video from a game in high resolution, as you can see, that is called Drillbert. It's a game that was created by Tom on the first rank of this audience, so thank you, Tom. And what you can see here are events detected inside of the gameplay. So a level has just been completed, as we can see, and there is going to be another one right here. All of this is happening at the edge, on device. We can see the task manager being shown to us right now with NPU utilization. If you're a game dev, you don't need to integrate an SDK. It's very easy, and if you're a developer, you don't need to deploy the AI model just for the Snapdragon. You use Windows ML, and it runs across all devices. So we're very excited about it, and I'm going to switch back to the slides now, and I'm going to move on to the next. Sorry. All good? All good. Great. So what's happening under the hood? We're running a number of AI models to reach this goal of detecting what's happening inside of the videos. We have 42 with the Drillbert game-specific models. We use lightweight OCR to find good moments as well. And we have AI models that detect the hype moments, the emotion, and it's really the combination of what's happening inside the game with what's happening outside the game in your interactions with your friends and your community that make for standout moments. And the great part is that because our models are quite small, it runs great on the NPU. For us, Windows ML is a big unblock. It helps us deploy AI models across all silicons, one API to run them all. It works on Snapdragon, AMD, Intel. For the Drillbert model, for instance, we could deploy the Drillbert model itself 3 to 5 times faster than we would have otherwise. And we don't need to care about compatibility because now Microsoft does it. And it does it in a way that is future-proof, which is tremendously exciting because we don't need to pay so much attention about keeping our stack up to date. I'm pressing the button, changing the slides. The Snapdragon, so this is a quote from Marian, our CTO. The Qualcomm AI Hub works great for model quantization. At the same time, Windows ML helps us deploy AI models across silicon very easily. And the Snapdragon X Elite NPU provides standout performance with room to spare. Our CTO and my co-founder Marian called it a game changer, and he does not say that often. And I'd like to leave you with this last slide. We're obviously tremendously excited about the potentialities of Edge AI for video content creation and sharing. That's our focus. But if you're in this room today, chances are you can be a developer. So we see other opportunities from this perspective, which makes me think that I think we lost a slide somewhere. Sorry about that. I hope I don't break the flow too much. Yeah. Let me just move on. Yeah. What I meant to say that was a part of this other slide was the following. When it comes to Edge AI, maybe you're asking yourself, okay, should I use it? Is it for me as a developer? And from this perspective, there are three ideas that I would like to share with you. The first one is that Powder, we run, it's relevant for us, Edge AI, because the data we handle is quite heavy. We're handling video, we're handling audio, and we're handling voice at the same time. That's quite heavy for the cloud. And from this perspective, Edge AI helps us address everything at the edge without latency, without cloud cost. So that's the first element that I believe is relevant. The second element is the idea that models need to be small to work at the edge. Think millions of parameters, not billions. And from this perspective, our AI stack works quite well. And the last idea is that when it comes to gaming in particular, the CPU and the GPU max out. And the NPU is what's left, and we're building straight into it, which leaves us with this slide. What are the potentialities of Edge AI in gaming? I talked about video content creation. We see other opportunities as well that perhaps some of you would like to explore. One would be AI coaching, to make it so that you can easily improve the quality of your gaming experience thanks to Edge AI. We see AI moderation as something that is very promising and quite important for gamers, as this is an important part of the gaming experience, and perhaps AI companions as well. And if you'd like to work with game devs instead of gamers, we believe in the potential of AI-driven NPCs. Quite excited also about AI 3D environments that are created directly on device for gamers. And with the potentialities of game QA thanks to Edge AI. That's it. We're Powder, we're rethinking video editing, and we're doing so in a way that is powered by Qualcomm, deployed thanks to Windows ML, and built for every gamer on Windows. Thank you, and I'd like to bring Manish on stage. Yeah.
Thank you, Bart. Thank you, Bart. Incredible use case, right? And I think Marianne and Bart and others on their team actually have been visionary of what AI could do for their use case, and they've been. But I think part of this problem of how we democratize on-device AI is we need to give the same AI capability in hands of millions of developers that may or may not have AI vision today, but we make it so simple for them to use that they actually can use it in their daily or whatever use cases that they may have, right? And I think part of that is a piece where Docker comes into picture. So Docker, as you may know, is a standard for containerization today. Millions of developers use Docker in DevOps for their application development in general. Ellie is here from Docker. He heads their technical alliances, and I'll hand it over to Ellie to talk about what we're doing cool together.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah. All right. I'm excited to be here. Who knows? Has anyone in the room used Docker in the past? All right. Excellent. All right. Excellent. Thank you. I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about how we're changing what Docker is to make it more interesting for people building AI-based applications. I will have the same problem with everybody else that my clicker doesn't work, so I'll stand here. All right, so real quickly, containers allow flexibility, scalability, and building secure applications. But when we go and talk to developers, we're like, okay, great, there's those Gen AI-based applications. How many of you know how to build them? And in reality, when we talk to developers, most developers don't know where to start, right? What do they do? How do they get an application going? What can they do? And the reality is, we don't make it particularly simple for them. And when we at Docker think about this problem, we think, okay, great. Why is it so difficult today? What makes it complex? We think about at Docker, we spend a lot of time thinking about developer productivity. What makes developers productive? Microsoft and others have done a study about what makes developers more productive. What differentiates developers who are 10x more productive than developers who are less so. And they found 3 main reasons that allow developers to be more productive. Fast feedback loops, allowing developers to see quickly whether their code is working or not. Allowing them to reduce their cognitive load, so not overwhelm them with new technologies and new things. Allowing them to stay in the state of flow for longer, right? So those are the 3 main components that research has shown allows developers to be more productive. And when we think about this and we think about what's actually happening today, we're seeing kind of 2 things happening here. We spent the last 40 minutes talking about models, right? We talked about, hey, this model, that model, we can deploy. Awesome. There is a set of people out there in the world who really care about models and who spend most of their day going deep into models and building models and fine-tuning models and so on and so forth. On the slide, I refer to them as AI developers. On the other hand, we have a whole set of developers today who are building regular applications. They could be the banking application you use. It could be the mobile app or a mobile game that you use. And those developers do not spend most of their day in the AI world. And what we're seeing a little bit of those 2 worlds colliding, right? Developers who are there today, who are building applications, are being asked, hey, can you use this model? Or can you use something else? Can you actually introduce some generative AI capabilities into your application? And what we're seeing even more so is that as those 2 worlds collide, the language those people talk to each other increasingly is becoming containers. It's becoming the lightweight packaging that Docker has pioneered many years ago and allows the 2 types of developers to speak to each other. People who produce models can easily containerize them and make them available for developers to use. And people who are used to using containerization as a technology can leverage those models in an easy and secure way. And what we're seeing when we look at Docker Hub, we're seeing actually a lot of developers today are already distributing their generative AI applications as containers on Docker Hub, and you can see the statistics over there. Looking at that, we realized that one thing that we wanted to make Docker the technology to do is we wanted to make sure that Docker as a technology could not only run containers, but could also run LLM models. And we've introduced Docker Model Runner earlier this year, in fact, a few months ago, that now allows you to run models in exactly the same way as you can run containers today, and allows your developers to be able to mix and match, be able to run applications and be able to leverage models. We've also earlier this week introduced the ability to introduce MCP clients into Docker, and that way allowing both models, connect to tools, and be able to write code and run it locally at the same time, right? And we've been partnering with Qualcomm over the last few months, and we're happy to announce an early access for Docker that's available in Snapdragon X series devices. It allows us a seamless developer experience for developers that know how to use Docker, running locally on their Windows machine. It is now fully supported, early access. It runs on CPU and GPU, and NPU support is coming soon. And we are super excited to be here and co-presenting that. I have a short demo, which I'm happy to play over here, of just showing what the Docker experience on Windows and ARM machine on Snapdragon X looks like, which I'd like to play.
Is that Docker has been shipping recently, is now available on Windows ARM64 architectures, including the Snapdragon X Elite. Here I see several models that are already loaded in a Docker desktop, and I can just click one of these and I can easily run it. In this case, I'll ask it for things that I should do in Seattle after Microsoft Build, in which I get an answer such as heading to Pike Place Market. Now, any code library that extends OpenAI libraries can easily be configured to point to the Docker model runner just by changing the base URL. And now my code can use models that are running locally. There's a wide variety of models that are available. Here in Docker Desktop, you can see, or here on Docker Hub, you can see quite a few models that are available. But models aren't the only things that you need for applications. If we want to make applications smarter, we've also recently just launched a Docker MCP catalog where we have a wide collection of containerized MCP servers, which allow you to just add capabilities to many of your AI-based applications. And so for any of these, you don't have to think about what languages or runtimes you need. All you need to do is open up Docker Desktop, go into the MCP toolkit, and then search for the tool that you want. In this case, I've already configured and enabled the GitHub official MCP server, and I can see a lot of the tools that are provided. Now, the only configuration this needs is a personal access token, which I've already pre-configured here. Now, with that in place, I can easily connect many MCP clients, many of these just with a single button press, or I can configure it with the Docker run command. Here in VS Code, I've already configured it to use the MCP toolkit, and I can see the list of tools down here, all the GitHub tools that the GitHub MCP server provides, and it allowed me to ask Copilot, can you help me complete the work needed to close out a particular issue? And we see that it ran the issue, or ran the tool get issue, and that gave Copilot the extra context that was needed to now go look through the rest of the code base and help me solve the problem. And I can look to see the changes that it requested. And again, it was all driven because the MCP tool, or the MCP server, gave Copilot the additional context that's needed. So again, all these capabilities are now available on the Snapdragon architectures, and go and try it.
Great.
All of the AI capabilities.
Sorry. So just to close out, right? So this world of AI developers and app developers are morphing. We're working together with folks like Qualcomm to make it easier for developers to be able to leverage AI models in the ways that they know how to consume it. We're allowing them to get feedback faster, running locally in a machine, reducing their cognitive load, and through that, maintain a state of flow for longer. We're excited to be here, and thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Ellie. So what did we learn? Snapdragon, very capable hardware for on-device AI. We have integrations in very popular tool chains, as well as we have our own AI hub, which was very powerful. Docker is a new addition to that, which makes it easily accessible, the capability of the hardware for AI. And third, we have tons of applications like Powder and others that are helping enable these on-device AI into consumer applications as well as we have tons of devices that are launching with Snapdragon. So in true ways, we are helping democratize on-device AI. Where can you learn more about us? There is a demo session right after this that is going to happen on the 4th floor in the open hallway in Theater A. We have a developer reception tonight. So if you don't have the invite, please stop by our booth, or we have some of these invites as well. We would love to have you guys over there. We have a bunch of lab sessions as well throughout tomorrow. We would love to have you over there and attend and learn more and interact with the presenters. And of course, we have our booth right across in the hallway. So with that, I think I call the end of the session. I think we have a few minutes. We're more than happy to stay behind and get the questions with the audience, or we can interact. So yeah, thank you. If somebody wants to ask the questions on microphone, feel free to as well. Maybe I can invite all the presenters, or we could stay behind and ask questions. If somebody wants to ask in private, that's okay too. Okay? All right, we'll be hanging out over here for more questions. Thank you.